Mark Weeks, 52 Weeks Financial. Let's transition to some more common questions about people who are maybe more established, people that are, retirement's right around the corner. I know specifically based on some of the financial advisors that I've had in my past, mistakes have been made, but do you see a common mistake made in your industry a lot? Even people that are coming from other financial institutions or new clients at 52 Weeks Financial?
Yeah, I would say when you're watching your favorite news program or whatever, and some financial expert hops on with a commercial and you hear the words never do something or we never do something, that's very closed mind thinking. I think when you go in for financial planning, you've got to go in with an open mind and a receptivity about listening and learning about what there is in the market. A lot of people are just trying to push product on you and not trying to sit down, get to know you.
And hear what you want.
And then help you identify what's going to help you get there. Mm-hmm. What we do is build trust right from the start. We make sure that you're comfortable with us. We want to make sure that you're a good fit for us too. We don't take every client that walks through the door. There's some where it's just not going to match with how we do our business. But coming in with a preconceived sort of notion on, well, I heard that I should never do this, ask those questions to your financial advisor, but I would not hold them to that statute. I would
perfection that they may portray.
Yeah, because it's just, again, everybody has different risk tolerances and everybody has different goals. And there's products out there to meet those. There's tax efficiencies in some products that are not in others. So we want to go through and make sure that you're getting the advice and with the open-mindedness so that you can act on that advice. Our goal is to educate so that you can make a good decision about your financial future.
Do you find a lot of people are maybe transitioning from another financial advisor institution or even a big bank, and they come in and they say, Mark, like, what's the difference between a big bank and what they can provide and what 52 Weeks Financial can provide?
Yeah, so I have a lot of colleagues that are in the big banks, great people, but in that channel, it's a promotion-driven business. So if you go in and work with somebody today, you may not work with that same person 6 months from now, 12 months from now. Certainly would be out of the norm to work with that person 5 or 10 years down the road. With us, we've been around since, I think I started this company 2013. I've been in the industry for 20 plus years now. I'm not going anywhere. My team's not going anywhere. I have clients that I wrote back in 1999 that are still clients today. They can still pick up the phone and call me because I'm still there.
We're going into tax season. We're pretty much already into tax season. This year is going to be really weird and quirky with taxes, I figure. I speculate because people got stimulus checks, right? And as soon as you got that stimulus check in the mail, you're going, okay, do I need to withhold some of this? Do I got to pay taxes down the road? I have had, and I'm sure people who are listening have had, horror stories with filing taxes. Last year, the person who filed my taxes didn't file all of the information, and so I got a letter from the federal government out of the middle of nowhere around April, after April, saying I owe $5 more grand to the federal government. So what can and what does 52 Weeks Financial provide this time of year as we heading into tax season alone, but knowing that, man, this year is going to potentially be and look a lot different?
Yeah, so first, to put everybody sort of at ease, the stimulus checks are not going to be taxed. So if you got tax or you got a stimulus check, that's not going to be part of your taxable income. Next, there's been no updates on any extensions due to COVID-related illnesses and the COVID economy right now, which is surprising because, again, it's so rampant out there, and they've come around with more stimulus checks. So we're still watching that to see if they're going to extend on the tax season on the filing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you expect there to be an extension this year like there was last?
It would make, I mean, it makes sense to me because they did it last year that they would do it again because we're really in the same environment that we were last year. But when it comes to the government and ask me what they're going to do, your guess is as good as mine.
Touche.
And the other part on the taxes is, I'm not an accountant. I'm a planner. And I would sort of compare accountants, if there's a battle fought, an accountant comes out and counts all the bodies after the battle's been fought and tells you those numbers. As a planner, we're preparing you for that battle. So hopefully when you go to that accountant, now you had a strategy and a tax plan that we've helped you implement so that number's a lot less.
Right. And I'm sure, many of your clients come to you and go, Mark, point me in the direction of a very trustworthy, accountant, a guy.
Sure. And you need an accountant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or if you're young and it's a simple thing, you can do your TurboTax or tax cuts or
I've been
whatever
there, done
software.
That.
Yeah.
I mean, I have, probably been filing taxes for the past 5 years consistently. And I have had more accountants than Larry King had wives. I mean, I have had some bad experiences, man. So maybe I will take you up on that and point me in the direction because, like I said, this year is going to be weird. It's going to be different. There's a ton of questions around tax season this year because of, people getting those stimulus payments and, some people getting laid off, furloughed, less money, stuff like that. So,
yeah, there's also a coronavirus employer tax credit. So many businesses out there that have been severely impacted by coronavirus will qualify for a new employer tax credit. So you can go to the IRS site, for details on that. I don't have the exact details, but if you're a business owner out there that's been impacted, you're going to want to look at that. And you're going to want to bring it to your accountant's attention if they haven't brought it to yours. So what do you think our chances are this year coming up in the fall?
Well, I think Georgia's in a really good spot, man. And I know everybody says that every year, and there's always a team or a quarterback specifically that you don't see coming that's going to have a huge year. Last year was Florida, right? Nobody really saw Kyle Trask having that season. And even Florida in general. 2 years ago was LSU and Joe Burrow and all in that historical season. But Georgia, I think just on paper, is light years ahead of even the second and third best teams in the SEC East. That with Pruitt leaving Tennessee, I think Tennessee is going to take a pretty significant dip. Florida obviously losing multiple offensive weapons, quarterback, receiver, tight end, could take a step backwards. Their defense for Todd Grantham hasn't been great. And Georgia just returns a ton, man. I mean, outside of the secondary, which saw 5 guys leave for the draft or transfer, Georgia brings back, especially offensively. I mean, finally year 2 for your quarterback and your offensive coordinator, right, which is the most important thing, Todd Monken and JT Daniels. You bring back your running backs. You bring back most of your offensive line. And even the guys you don't bring back at offensive line, Kirby is just, replacing them with other 5 stars that he's recruited. They bring back every receiver from last year. So, but they open up with Clemson, and so that to me is bigger than any game this year in the SEC because, right, Georgia has gotten to the SEC championship the past couple of years and they've already had a loss. And so it puts a premium and a lot of pressure on Georgia to beat Alabama in the SEC championship game. And then when they lose, well, you got 2 losses and you can't get into the playoff.
Right.
So to me, if Georgia can beat Clemson this year, I don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse, but I think that Clemson game is ultimately going to determine, and I know that sounds crazy saying first game of the year that early on, that'll have that much impact on the college football playoff, but I just don't see anybody else in the SEC East that's going to be able to touch Georgia.
Now, what are we going to do with these quarterbacks? We got Brock, and then Gunner committed. Are they going to run into?
I don't know if they're working for the Outdoor Channel part time, or we got Gunner, Brock. I mean, these are Georgia quarterbacks, right? I mean, where's Colt McCoy?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody said the other day, he was giving us a hard time. They were like, does Georgia have any just like normal quarterback names? Like we got Gunner, Hutson, Stetson, exactly. And then they go, where's a Justin? Oh wait,
we had Joe Tereshinski the third.
Joe, that's normal. I guess that's more normal. But Yeah, it's amazing, man. I got to tell you, when Gunnar Stockton, the number one quarterback in the 2022 class, which is next year, committed a couple weeks ago to Georgia, I was blown away, right? Because he's got one more year of high school, so he'll be going next year. But Georgia just got Brock Vandergriff, 5-star quarterback in this year's class, and he's already on campus. So, when you're going to Georgia, you even at the quarterback position, Mark, you can't dip and dodge a lot of the talent. But I always kind of looked at it as, where's the room of separation a little bit? Like Gunnar Stockton, for example, everybody thought he was going to go to Auburn because he was committed to South Carolina for Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo was the OC at South Carolina, and then he went to Auburn. So everybody thought he was going to go to Auburn. And I think on paper it makes way more sense. Like Bo Nix is going to graduate. Who's going to be the next quarterback? Right. But somehow, some way, Kirby got him. Kirby sold him on him coming and being the next guy and winning a national championship. The scary, I guess the sobering point is that you're going to have, if JT Daniels leaves next year and he goes to the draft, you're going to have 3 guys competing for a job, right? You're going to have Brock, you're going to have Gunnar, and you might have a couple other guys there as well. But 2 of those guys are going to transfer. Only one guy wins. Right. So, especially with Gunnar or Brock, it's one of those guys is going to win. The other is probably going to transfer. All right, Mark, it's been good talking to you, man. I know I got a lot of questions, but it's because I got a lot of uncertainty in my life, new kid, and I'm sure everybody else is in that same boat. A lot of people are in that same boat. 2021 has kind of made that bed for everybody now. But for people that have watched and are listening, however they're consuming this, let people know if they're interested how they can find you.
Yeah, certainly reach out to us on the web. It's www.52weeksfinancial.com. We've got a contact link there. You can tell us what you're thinking. If you have a question, we'll get back with you. We've got a riskalized profile on our website. So if you just want to sort of figure out how your risk is wired together, take some time, fill that out. That gives us a lot of information about you. You can always call us, 678-322-3801. That'll get you Danielle, and there's no one better to talk to than her.
There you go. Danielle, 52 Weeks Financial, or check them out online at 52weeksfinancial.com.